Good morning. Welcome back to We Are the South Stand on a Friday where we're playing a game of football, which seems weird as hell to me. Swear it's usually only at the start of the seasons you have games on Fridays, but hey, it's what it is. Wolves tonight, massive game. I'm joined, firstly, obviously, usually on Friday mornings, I have LB with me. He's not feeling too great. Might do the show with him later on, would depend how he is. But however, I am joined by my good friend, the Mancunian Tasmanian Devil.
Yes,
Alan. Yep. In Tasmania. I was going to say sunny Tasmania, but it's dark there now.
It has been sunny, but it's dark now. It's night time here. I'm down here for the long weekend. For a long weekend with my parents who live down here, and my sister lives down here. So I've come down from Melbourne. Yep, good. But my next Manx, don't know, we'll say I'm an Aussie.
So, last night, big result for us last night, and I don't mean the fucking other one. That was a shit result. The other one that played last night.
Well, I saw the Forest result first, and I punched the air when I saw it when I woke up this morning. But then I came crashing back down to earth when I saw them idiots from Trafford Park. I tell you what, the message he's sending to me is Spain, the La Liga has got three teams: Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico, and the rest are all pub teams. Clearly, if they can't beat them,
hold on, Alan. I hear you. However, you just said if you can't beat them. Well, we ain't beat them all season either.
I know. Well, I look at it as partly our fault because we turned up to last year's cup final, enabling them to get into the Europa, and turned up pissed and giving them a European passport, and now they could win the Europa and get a Champions League place.
Do you know what? We actually haven't beaten the last 3 times we fucking played them. Now I'm thinking about it.
Well, Pep's record against them, it's not that special. It's not special.
No, it's not. Hey, who cares? We're winning fucking trophies.
Well, exactly. So, the main priority is to see Nottingham Forest get beat last night.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a massive result.
Do you know what? Wolf has been saying to me that Forest had the easiest run. I'm pretty certain Forest's next game might be Palace away as well.
That won't be. Is there a good side?
Yeah. So, I mean, all of a sudden, I hate to say it, but if you look at Villa and you look at Forest, they're crumbling at the moment, both of them.
They are. And I'll be honest with you, I rate Forest, and I certainly rate Villa. I think they're good sides. And like I said a few weeks ago, if you remember, I turned around to you and I've turned around to Martin and said, we need to win every game.
Yeah.
Because it's so tight up there now, we can't afford to start losing games or drawing. Because if we do, we'll open the door to the
Well, this is the thing. 2-3 weeks ago, I was with you, right?
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying we don't need to, but results like that does start to mean maybe we don't need to, right? But for me,
we can't rely on that. We can't rely on
No, we can't. But what I'm saying is, right, before yesterday, when Forest drew, I was still saying, we need to win every game, right? Now, that changes things. I'm not saying now all of a sudden we shouldn't win tonight, right? Because for me, I want to get this wrapped up way before Fulham away. Yeah? That's the one. I look at that Fulham away game and think that could be a stinker because Fulham could still be playing for Europe by the point we come to play them, right? And I don't want to be going to Fulham last game of the season knowing they're playing for something, having to worry about. Imagine we go to Fulham away, last game of the season, we must win, and we're also looking over our shoulder watching other games. I don't want that. I want it done before Fulham away.
I personally think this game tonight, right, or first thing in the morning for me, is the hardest game. They're playing Wolves.
Wolves are in sensational form. I will. it's just away games for me. I always say it, away games are never guaranteed wins. So
No, no.
And especially when, Fulham might not be on the beach by then. Fulham might still be playing something. But, sorry, just got a super chat. Shout to Pip Lupp saying, good morning, fellow Gibbs White enjoys. I'm vowing, I've said it. So yesterday I was due to have a show with the Sheikh yesterday, right? And really appreciate the super chat, by the way. And the Sheikh had said to me he wants to talk about Morgan Gibbs-White, and I said to him, right, I've spoke about it so much, we will speak about it, but then after this show, I don't want to speak on him anymore. And that's where I am with Morgan Gibbs-White. I've argued it out. Do you know what? I've come round from my way of thinking to another way of thinking. I've got my opinions on him, and I'm done with airing them. Done with airing them.
I just put. Well, I ended up going on Martin's show, Mancini Way, and we spent half an hour arguing about Gibbs White and Grealish. I've got a difference of opinion, like you have.
Yeah.
I prefer Grealish, right? And Martin was lost, just completely lost it. He's all about Gibbs White. And I'm just like, what the...
And this is the thing. Martin's invested in a player that isn't even our player yet.
Right? I know.
But invested in a player to the point where he's saying that I'm cruel for not backing him. And I'm like, but I'm just... Right now, we're at a point where, and I've said, if we buy him, I'll back him, right? 100%. But at this point, I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to me, right? That even from a financial point of view, it does not make sense to me. Now, if we get him, and I think someone said there, in an 8 role, if we get him in the 8 role, he might do a job. I certainly won't be throwing my toys out the pram. And when people say it's a Calvin Phillips move, he's better than Calvin Phillips, in my opinion, right?
Well, the thing with Calvin Phillips, if he plays in the in the same role, which doesn't require a lot of intelligence, like a Gareth Southgate system, where he just stays in that position and doesn't have to move around like Pep requires people to move in different positions and have some common sense off the ball, where I thought Phillips struggled with the intelligence part of the game.
Yeah, 100%. Do you know what? I was having this chat with a Liverpool fan yesterday, right, about Calvin Phillips. And obviously this season, with Rodri out, and when we were at our worst, by the way, if Calvin Phillips' confidence was still there, then you could have said, do you know what? Just go in the 6th role and do the job as a 6, right? I don't want you to try and be Rodri. Just literally. I think his confidence is so blown. He would have even fucked that up. I honestly believe he would have. His confidence is so gone that I think wherever you play Calvin Phillips now, but with Morgan Gibbs-White, I'm not saying he wouldn't do the 8 role. I'm not saying, if we get him, I won't be against him from the minute he gets here. I'll be backing him. It's more, I'm convinced it's something to do with the homegrown quota, right? And I'm just looking at some of the homegrown players we might get rid of, thinking, actually, is Morgan Gibbs-White...
If that's the case, that we're getting rid of some English players or homegrown players, then I could understand it. But on the same point, I want to trust in Pep and Tiki and the other guy to isolate the players that we require. Yeah? We just got to accept who they get.
Yeah,
let's face it. And when people say, "Oh, I want a Kevin De Bruyne, but I want a Kevin replacement," last time I looked, Kevin De Bruyne arrived at Man City, not being in the top 20 players in Europe. He was going, "What a waste of money! You're a reject from Chelsea." And let's get he didn't come as a world class player. He didn't.
But that's the whole thing. I'm ready to back anyone we buy, right? But we have a channel to debate these things, and for me, as somewhere where we're spending a lot of money, is Morgan Gibbs-White worth 40, 50 million pound more than McAtee, 40, 50 million pound more than
No,
Grealish?
he's not. No, he's not.
And then there's could Nico O'Reilly do that 8 role, right? Because for me, Nico O'Reilly, maybe not next season. Maybe I personally think give him one more season, but I do think eventually Nico O'Reilly will make a spot on 8 once he gets that, because he's already strong. He bulks up a little bit more. He could do the 8 role. He's showing, and Pep's teaching him at the moment with where he's playing. He's teaching him the defensive side of the game, right?
The thing is with O'Reilly. The thing is with O'Reilly, because he's so young, which he is. Okay, he's still learning the game.
Yeah,
and youngsters have good games or good patches, and then they go off the boil for a couple of games, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, they do.
That's what happened with young players, not just in football, in cricket, in rugby, in whatever sport. They're inconsistent. So you've got to bring him in and then bring him out, and then bring him in and then bring him out. That with young players, you've got to do that.
Yeah, spot on. That is exactly, and I just think O'Reilly, give him one more season playing at
in and out,
left back. But I do think eventually he is going to be an 8. I don't know, man. Anyway,
I agree.
Out to Wolves F1 in the building. Long time follower of Never a Foul, and also South Stand since we've been starting. Big supporter of both channels. Made the best team win, I would say. Now, do you know what? I've already I put it in the thumbnail a little bit. On the thumbnail, I put a picture of De Bruyne. And I was thinking, De Bruyne, Wolves. And it just took me back to a game pretty much around the same time of the season as this one. I think it was 3 games before the end of the season. Wolves away on a Thursday night. Yeah.
He destroyed them.
I was at it. And I remember it was weirdly, it was a Thursday night game, and we went 1-0 up, and then Wolves got an equaliser. I reckon Wolves got an equaliser about 20 minutes into the first half, and the place erupted. Right, beautiful evening, and then De Bruyne just took hold of that whole game and said, "No, we ain't losing no league to Liverpool," And that's what we need tonight. We need a vintage Kevin De Bruyne performance tonight.
You think he'll play?
Yeah, I think because he was rested. He didn't play in the FA Cup semi-final. So I think for me, De Bruyne will be. I think De Bruyne will 100% be playing tonight for me.
I agree.
I agree. Yeah. Do you know what? I always remember about that game? If De Bruyne did not have the game he had, then we would be blaming Raheem Sterling for losing us the league that season, because that game against, I think De Bruyne got 4 goals that game. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Sterling had the right boots on, De Bruyne probably would have got 4 assists as well, right? Because Raheem Sterling was missing sitters for fun that game.
Well, mate, I'm going to say something to you now. If you think I have got a problem with Nunes, you should have seen me when Sterling was playing for City. Right. I thought it was a headless chicken without a brain and 2 left feet. I just think he was one of the world overrated players. He couldn't score with his left foot at all. Yeah. Remember that miss he missed against Burnley from about a yard out with his left foot, and the Champions League against Lyon.
Well, do you know what my view is? Do you know what my take with Sterling was? Right, and Pip, like, I'm going to bring up your super chat in a minute. My take with Raheem Sterling, right, was I've got this friend, and I'm not going to name his name. Always been shit with money. However, he's a laugh to be around. He's a good bloke, good heart, but he's just shit with money. Don't lend him money, because if you lend him money, you'll be chasing him forever, right? Anyway, got to a point in our friendship circle where everyone, and we've known him for what, 20 years, always been shit with money. And then all of a sudden, people started to fall out with him over it. And I was like, I don't understand why you're falling out with someone that's been shit with money for 20 years. You've been fine with that. But now all of a sudden, it's an issue, right?
Right.
Now that's me with Raheem Sterling. That Raheem Sterling has always been, he's so inconsistent in front of goal. However, you know what? He did a lot for us. He did, like, and fair play, you could probably put some other people in the role Raheem Sterling did, and they'd also get big numbers. But I honestly do believe without Raheem Sterling, we didn't win all the trophies that we won.
No, it was quick. His asset was he was strong and he was quick. When he played on the right-hand side, lethal.
For me, he is strong, he is quick, his balance is great. But for me, his strongest asset actually is finding space, right?
Yeah.
Because I honestly believe that Raheem Sterling thrived off of the movement of everyone else in our team, right?
Yeah.
But everyone else was, we had so many runners at that point, and we had David Silva, we had Kevin De Bruyne, everything the team, and Raheem Sterling just said, you know what? I'm going to take a step backwards, or I'm going to get to the far post unmarked. And I think Raheem Sterling just thrived on the space made by everyone else in the team. And look, he had prime Kevin De Bruyne putting it on the plate for him. He had David Silva, and Sterling and Silva had a really good link up as well. So, yeah, but that game, I just remember, and I remember saying to Stevens, we left the ground, I said, I'll tell you what, if Kev didn't step up there, we would be cursing Raheem Sterling so much because he missed 4 or 5 sitters in that game. Now, what a game that was. What a game.
It was a pleasure to watch.
What, that game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, it could have been, like I said, it could have been more. It was 5-1. I think it could have probably been about 7 or 8-1.
It was like teaching the youth of today just watching him. He was that good.
Yeah. Do you know the thing as well with that game, right, was when 1-0 up, I think we scored an early goal, and we're like, here we are. We're on the way to win the league here. And then Wolves scored. And when Wolves scored, I thought, fuck. Because the place erupted, right? And Wolves fans came alive. And I thought, fucking hell, this could get sticky here. Up step Kev. Boom. Right, super chat. Let me just bring this up from Piplup again. Appreciate the super chat. He's saying, if we're losing our engine in Bernardo Silva, then he'd be perfect. I'd have trust in Pep to turn him from a good player to a great player. I'm happy Jack is staying. Much love, lads. See you later. Appreciate the super chat. Yeah, so I think 1 or 2 have asked about the Jack staying comment. I don't think necessarily we've been told that Jack is staying. What we've been told is Jack will not be loaned out. Right?
Correct.
Apologies. Hay fever is getting the better of me today massively already. And I do understand why we wouldn't want to loan Jack out. Look, we loan him out. We're not getting no money for him. And we would probably end up still having to pay half his wage. Right?
That's why I don't think he'll go.
I think the only way that Grealish goes is if we sell him, because the club will want to get some money for him and get all of the money off the wage book. The club will not be going, because... And here's the reason why. That whatever you say about Jack Grealish, right, whatever the reason why he's not playing often, when Jack Grealish is called on, Jack Grealish performs, right?
Correct.
Off the bet, he could not play for 10 games. He starts a game, he gives it 100%, and he doesn't need to find no form. Now, that is, for me, and by the way, you can't have 100 million, 300 grand a week squad players. I hear it, right? But if the option is he stays on the bench and we know that we've got a squad player that can come in and hit the ground running, or alternatively, we get no money for him, and we're still paying half his wage, we're better off keeping him in the squad, right? We are.
Absolutely.
But where could Jack Grealish go? Now, I've said before that Villa would be an option for him, right? Because, yes, he would probably have to drop his wage. But here's the thing. Aston Villa have recently been linked with Marcus Rashford. We know what his wage is, right? And they've also recently been linked with Kevin De Bruyne. Well, we know what his wages are, right? So which one to Aston Villa would probably be more appealing? A 34, because I'm pretty certain De Bruyne's birthday's any day. I know he's born in May.
Yeah,
So
he's 34. He'll be 34 by next season starts.
yeah, he's 34 this month, right? So what would Villa rather? A 34-year-old Kevin De Bruyne, right? Or a 30-year-old Grealish, right? Commercially, I know which one will make them more money, and it will be the Jack Grealish one. I know Kevin De Bruyne is a star, but you've got to remember with Jack Grealish, there's a story there. And I know the Villa fans turned on him a bit, but look, that's because he was leaving their club. If Jack Grealish, an Aston Villa fan that got them promoted, captained them to promotion, said, I want to come back and end my career at Aston Villa, all of those Villa fans that turned on him would very quickly welcome him back and get his name on the back of their shirt. We know they would. So
I just think I've heard Tottenham, I've heard Villa could go for Grealish. Right, let's get this one thing straight. Anyone says Tottenham, Grealish is going to Tottenham, is an idiot.
Yeah, facts.
Levy has no idea, has no comprehension about paying him a decent wage.
Yeah,
facts. You just don't do it at Spurs. And so I'm sorry, City are not going to go out and pay half his wages to go to Tottenham. It ain't happening. So Spurs, forget it. There is no chance. Villa, there's half a chance. But I personally think that he will still be at City at the start of next season.
You think I do as well?
Yeah. And Martin went mad at me when I said this, and because he's convinced he's finished. I went, I don't care. He ain't going.
I don't know. It's where he could go. That's the whole thing. And look, I do think that if a club comes in, offers us money for him, I think we would sell him. I do think we would sell him. I think Pep is ready to sell him.
But the problem is his wage. He's on. Yeah. We'd have to pay out the difference, and that's a lot of money.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you on that. Newcastle might be an option, but then I don't know. When I look at Newcastle, I think with Harvey Barnes, with Anthony Gordon, I can't, and with the midfield they've got, I can't see a place for Grealish. Again, it would be going there to be a squad player.
Well, yeah, I just can't see that happening either. Someone mentioned Forest today. You tell me where Forest are going to get the money to pay the wages. There's a thing that's called PSR. This Mickey Mouse rule that they've invented.
Exchange for Morgan Gibbs-White? Swap?
Yep. Exactly.
Just on this one, this is why you don't give the player mad wages until they perform well enough for you to deserve them. Look, I'll be honest with you. I hear you on that. And in an ideal world, 100% I agree with you. But we know that football is not just about what you do on the pitch, right? It's also what you do off the pitch, right? Jack Grealish knew what he could demand because of, firstly, his commercial value, and secondly, his performances at Villa. I do agree with you, 100%. In an ideal world, what someone does commercially off the pitch would have fuck all to do with it. But we know Jack Grealish joined us, and the shirt sales with the name on the back went through the roof. Right, we know that commercially he's got to deal with Gucci, he's got to deal with multiple other brands. We know that commercially Jack Grealish brought the club a lot of money, and it's not right. But
at the end of the day, did he or did he not play in the Champions League final and take us to the treble? He did.
Oh, and he was mint in that treble season. Do you know what I had?
Yeah.
My mate who lives with me, his uncle came over the other week, and he doesn't know what we do here, and he saw the setup downstairs and said, "Oh, I recognise you. I watch YouTube. You talk on City, don't you?" I said, "Yeah." He's an Arsenal fan. We started debating, and he was going, "Yeah, he goes, the difference between our club and your club is, you spent 100 million on Grealish as an example, and he's done nothing." He goes, we spent the same on Declan Rice, and he instantly came in, and look at us now. I said, well, I don't get what you mean. And he goes, well, look at us. Look at what he's doing for us, and look at what... I said, so what are you doing? Declan Rice has come in, and what have you done since Declan Rice has arrived, right? I said, Jack Grealish's first season, he won the league, right? Jack Grealish's second season, he won the treble. I said, he goes, yeah, but he wasn't part of that, was he? I said, oh, no.
Yes.
The treble season,
Yes.
Jack Grealish was fully part of it. And go and look at the chances created in the Champions League that season. The season we won the Champions League, Jack Grealish was there. And I'll argue this till I'm blue in the face. I don't think he was good first season. Last season, he wasn't great. When we call on him, he puts in a performance. But that treble season, Jack Grealish was pivotal to us.
Your mate Arsenal fan, they live in delusion land. What have they done? What have they done?
Beat Real Madrid. The end.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean? Is the thing. Look, with Arsenal fans, they will say, like, and I said to one the other day, right? Beating Madrid, I never thought you'd do it, right? But you did, home and away. And when you beat a team like Madrid in a quarterfinal, home and away, then I will say, why not? Arsenal could win the Champions League. You could.
Yeah.
I said, however, you have to. Otherwise, all of that's for nothing. No, we don't. No, we don't. And I said, all right, so at the end of the season or in 5 years' time, do you want to talk about the night that you beat Real Madrid over 2 legs in a quarterfinal, right? And then the story stopped there? Or do you want to start off the story with we won a Champions League and then saying, by the way, we beat the holding champions home and away in the quarterfinal? Because that's a great story. But just to say, remember that night we beat them at the Bernabeu? All right, well, what did you do that season? Well, we got knocked out to PSG. You have to go and get it done. Otherwise, it's an irrelevant story, right?
Yeah, but that's Arsenal, isn't it? It's like Tottenham. Yeah. North London, I'm sorry to say, but North London live in cloud cuckoo land at times. They really do.
Yeah, they do. They do. But hey, listen, they could turn it around against them. So, are you worried about this Wolves game then, Alan?
Yeah, because I think since the last 10 games, they've been brilliant.
Yeah.
And one thing they do is they score goals. They score goals. This strike, this number 10 they've got, he bangs them away. Yeah, he bangs them away. Yeah.
You know where he's ending up next season, don't you?
Not United.
Yeah. Nailed on, mate. Nailed on, unfortunately. Doesn't seem like anyone else is even in for him, to be fair, so.
Should be a lot of clubs looking at him. They really should be.
Yeah.
You know, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be a tough game. It really is going to be a tough game. It's in the morning for me at 5 a.m. I'm at my parents' house watching it in bed. We're watching it at 5 a.m. But I'm anticipating a very, very tough game. It'd be interesting to see how many City fans turn up as well on a Friday night.
You think?
Yeah.
What, you think it'll... I think it'll be a full house, me.
I hope you're right. I really do. But I'll be interested to see. I think I'll be interested
Alan,
to see.
we've only got 2 home games left this season.
I know, but I'll be interested to see how many turn up, mate.
Yeah, I think it'll be full. I think the only
area where it might be a bit empty will be the family stand yet again.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? But do you know what? Yeah, because the family stand is right. It's a Friday night. And we know that sections of the family stand. And let me be clear with this to anyone. I'm going to always say this. When I say tourists, I mean tourists. I don't mean global City fans. I mean tourists, right? We do know that sometimes around the family stand, there are some tourists, right? And whether they will be in Manchester on a Friday night is probably valid. But I don't know, bro. This is our second to last home game. For me. I think it'll be Ram. I think it'll be busy. And just to say, the protest, the 6-minute protest, will still be going ahead. Great news that the club looks like they're going to be releasing season tickets. I think I saw the number, maybe 5,000 season tickets being released in the coming weeks or months. But the protest is still going to go ahead because we feel like, or we are 1894. MCFC Food Banks feel like maybe this is a club getting a bit nervous and kind of saying, "Oh yeah, we will do something to stop the protest, and then we'll go back on it." Is it 500? Well, big difference between 500 and 5,000. There we go. If it's only 500, then we need more, right? We need more. So there we go. 6 minutes tonight. Stay on the concourse for 6 minutes to represent every year that they have not released new season tickets. Thinking Wolves. We've always had tough games against Wolves, haven't we? Remember that one? It was in between Christmas and New Year a few years back. Probably, well, to be fair, more than a few years back now. It was probably.
Is that when Otamendi had a nightmare?
Yeah.
Don't start me off, Otamendi. He spent more time on his arse than he just stood up. The first rule of the defending is stay on your feet, and he was terrible. The big lad, Wolves, that fast guy. Mate, oh my God, he tore him to pieces.
Mate, the big lad with baby oil all over his body.
Yeah, he tore him to pieces. Yeah. He looks like a rugby league player.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, he looks like. Do you know what? He's the same build as Andy Morrison, but it's all muscle.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he absolutely. I remember Otamendi. He was in fear of him. In fear. He just had no idea what to do. No idea. He tried tackling him when he's on the floor, and they were just laughing at him.
Yeah,
he had a shocker.
Yeah, and Wolves, was it last season or the season? It was last season. Wolves beat us as well, wasn't it? Yeah. He did. You're right. He did Mendy as well. Yeah,
that's right.
I'm pretty certain. Did we get a player sent off that game? I feel we might have. There was certainly either something. There was some sort of controversy.
We were winning 2-1.
We were winning. Yeah. We were winning. Yeah. I remember watching. I didn't go to it, but I was up in Manchester at my sister's house. I remember, and it was in between Christmas and New Year. But yeah, look, Dan, I believe Wolves F1. Am I right? I'm pretty certain that. Have they won their last 7 on the bounce? Is it?
Yeah.
Big one. It's a very big one. They're an informed team. And do you know what? I'm already having slight nightmares about. Well, when we played Sporting just before Amorim left to go to Man United.
Yeah.
And they beat us 4-0, right? The fact that Cunha, who's in great form at the moment, is looking likely to go to them lot across the way. I'm just thinking, don't let him do it as well. Because if he scores against us, all them rags are going to be making shitloads of. Because it is looking nailed on. Wolves F1, I am right, aren't I? It is looking pretty nailed on, like he's going to end up at Man United.
Imagine if we don't make top 5 and the scum get into Europe, into the Champions League, we don't.
It's not happening. We're making top 5. That's unthinkable. I hear you. That is unthinkable.
I get you, and it does make me work. That's why you're right. I think we need to win every game. Simple. Then we haven't got anything to worry about.
At this point, we don't need to win every game. Literally.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right.
Hold on. I'm pretty certain if we win, let me get the league up quickly.
Do Forest still have a game in hand on us? They do, don't they?
No, they don't. They played it last night. They played it last night. So, Forest are... Right, so, if we win 3 of our games, that will put us on 70 points, right?
Right. I know what about the others.
So, Chelsea are playing Newcastle, at Newcastle.
That's good for us, that.
Right. which means one of those is dropping points.
Or both of them if it's a draw.
Right, so let's straight away look at Villa. Aston Villa, let me put the league table up, in fact. Hold on, how do I share screen?
Yeah.
Hold on. There is 143 people in it, only 99 likes. People, about 40 of you, yeah? Smash the like button. Let's get those likes up a lot higher. I want to see the likes way over 100, hitting the 120, 130s. Please make sure you smash the like button. Right, let's share this screen quickly. Where's share screen? There we go. Right. So
look at the table.
Straight away, if we look at Aston Villa have 4 games left, which means they can pick up a maximum of 3, 6, 9, 12 points, right? So Aston Villa can, if we win 3 of our games, right? Not 4. If we win 3 of our games, that puts us on 70 points, yeah? So straight away, if Aston Villa win 4 of their games and we win 3 of our games, they can't catch up with us. Yeah?
Yep.
So then it leaves Nottingham Forest, Chelsea and Newcastle. Chelsea and Newcastle, one of them, at very least one of them dropped points, right? Personally, I think it will be Chelsea that drop points because it's at Newcastle.
Right, fair enough.
But let's even say they draw. That would put Newcastle on 63 points, Chelsea on 61 points, right?
Yep.
If they win their other 3 games, that would put them on 70 points. Their goal difference is worse than ours by 4 goals, right? So, if that is a draw, Chelsea won't catch up with us. There we go. We've got Champions League football. We have to win. For me, we have to. Well, we don't even have to. For me, if we win 3 of our 4 games, we get Champions League football. 70 points, we're getting Champions League football. But I am with you. I want to win all 4 of them. But I think it would be great if we win our 3 games. We know we're going into that Fulham away game knowing pretty much we've got Champions League football. Yeah.
I agree. I think you're right. We need to win. I'd like to win all 4. Then there's no doubt whatsoever, right?
What's going on here? Bear with me. So we'll change again. There we go. Better. Right. Thank you. Yeah. What's this? On hold City now for an hour because they're making life difficult to make a simple ticket transfer. Beyond belief? That's not beyond belief, right? What you put right there, yeah? It seems to be a norm with Manchester City at this point, right?
Well, the operations at the ticket office are an absolute third world disgrace.
Yeah.
They have not got a clue at City what they're doing. Really have not. It's baffling. What one of the people in the chat's mentioned before that I was right that there's loads of tickets left for tonight's game.
Yeah.
Loads. And we all know the problems about City selling tickets on the day of the match.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. To me, another point, they need to be when they build this new stand and they put safe standing in the bottom tier of the north stand. Are they going to move the family stand because they need to out of the way where the cameras can't see?
No. I mean, we'll see.
So they're going to have the kids in the stood-up positions. Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what's going on with that new stand with the blue wall or whatever they want to call it. I don't even like the name the blue wall. I think
it's not the wall. You've got 2 tiers. It's 2 tiers.
Yeah, but even more. Yeah, it's not a wall. But secondly, they've got the yellow wall, right? Don't do that. That's their thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but sorry, I just want to go through the fixtures quick because I do have the fixtures up. People are asking who's playing who. I think this is relevant as well. So let's show this quickly. Bear with me because this makes it a little bit more interesting. So, see, we've got Wolves this weekend.
Yeah.
Villa have got Fulham at home. I would say Villa win that. But you
Yeah,
never
it
know.
was.
At home, in fact, Villa win that. Villa's form at home is impeccable. Villa win that.
Yeah.
Sunday, Brighton Newcastle.
There's half a chance that Brighton might win that. Being at home.
The form that Newcastle are in, you're not putting 100% on Newcastle getting 3 points there, right? Chelsea Liverpool. Now, you could say that Liverpool are now on the beach, right? They've won the league.
Yep.
But you're not going to guarantee Chelsea win that at the same time, right?
No, you're not. You're not.
I do think Chelsea might win it.
The Arsenal Bournemouth. They might be surprised there, you know.
Yeah, but I'm more talking. I don't care about that.
Well, I do because.
Hold on. You're looking to catch up with Arsenal.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I hear you.
They've got Champions League.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Now you say put it that way, I hear what you're saying. But then Nottingham Forest have got a trip to Crystal Palace on Monday. Again,
that won't be easy.
The form Forest are in, right? Felix is saying Newcastle are in unbelievable form. Daps. Are you being sarcastic? Newcastle were in great form until Villa rocked up.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
So,
see, I'll be honest with you. If Villa don't make Champions League, I'll be a bit peeved if they don't make it, and Man United do, because Villa are 5 times better, if not 100 times better than Man United, and they are.
Yeah, they are. I don't disagree with you, but right, let's keep going. Fulham, Everton, Ipswich, Brentford, Southampton, City. Look, of course.
It can be two ways, this.
Felix, I do hear what you're saying. However, your form is only as good as your last game, right? So, Newcastle are in good form. I do agree with you. But that last game, that blip, now they're going to Brighton away. So, Newcastle's last game, I believe, or one of their last games, I think they might have played once since, but I don't know if they did play last weekend, Newcastle, did they? Anyway, either way, their last away game, they lost. Yeah. So a trip to Brighton is not a guaranteed 3 points. Do I think Newcastle win it? Yeah, maybe, but it's not a guaranteed 3 points. But right, we're gonna say again, it's an away game against Southampton. So I will always say no away game is a guaranteed win. But looking at the number of points Southampton have earned this season, we should be winning that, right? Aston Villa have Bournemouth away.
Bournemouth are a decent side.
They are. Bro, they've given us they've given us 3 difficult games this season, right?
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Yep. 2 difficult games, both away.
They're good. Playing at Bournemouth is not going to be easy.
Yeah, right. That's it. They beat Ipswich 3-0. Thank you. Newcastle at home. But again, the other thing with this Bournemouth-Aston Villa one is Aston Villa's form at home, sensational. Aston Villa's form away from home, far from sensational. Right?
Yeah.
So, again, you're looking at that one going, interesting. Keep going. Newcastle-Chelsea, Sunday the 11th. So it's not the last day of the season. That one's massive. I personally think Newcastle win that one. Forest have got Leicester at home. They win that one.
Yeah, you would say so.
See,
Liverpool, I think, will beat Arsenal. And we'll be able to catch Arsenal.
I think Liverpool beat Arsenal at Anfield. Agreed. Right. Chelsea, Man United.
Chelsea,
who knows?
Smash United. Chelsea smash United.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then we go to, I believe, is this the last week of the season? No, it's not. Villa have got Spurs.
Is that the FA Cup week? Final.
That's the FA Cup weekend, so we're not playing that weekend. So at one point, potentially, teams will go above us because of games in hand and whatever. Aston Villa have got Spurs at home. I think they win that. Nottingham Forest have got West Ham away. Now, I think the next couple of games for Nottingham Forest are important on this one because if Forest's form continues the way it's going, this is a far more difficult game than it needs to be. Right?
Yeah.
West Ham away with Forest in form, I think Forest get it done. But if they keep losing games like they have been, this game becomes very difficult for them.
Yeah, I still think Forest will beat West Ham.
I hear you. So do I. But it could be difficult again because their form at the moment. Well, you would, however good Brentford are, and I really rate Brentford. I think we all would have said that Forest beat Brentford at home yesterday.
Brentford are a side that is just. They remind me of. They don't play the long ball, but it reminds me of playing a Sam Allardyce side when he was Bolton. Right, you have to win the battle to win the game. And if you're not prepared to win the battle, you're losing that game. And they've lost it because they didn't win the battle against them. Yeah, no, they're a big side. They're a big team.
Who, Brentford?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. But if I would have asked you before I think if I would have asked most people before the game, Forest are in a race for Champions League football. Brentford aren't really playing for too much. It's at Nottingham Forest ground. Who's going to win? I think most of us would have said Forest probably win that one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, this one's an interesting one. Arsenal-Newcastle. By that point, Arsenal will either be out of the Champions League or they'll be on the way to a final, right?
Right, let's hope they're out of the Champions League because we can take a piss.
Right. Or do we want them still in the Champions League, knowing that they will rest players against Newcastle at home because the league's over for them?
There's two consolations to this. One of my best friends over here, as you met the other night on the phone, he's a massive Tottenham fan. He's from Potter's Bar, and
where my mum's from. Yeah,
and Leo said to me, "Please God, don't let them get through. Don't let them get to the final. Don't let them win the Champions League." He's absolutely dreading it. Absolutely dreading it. And I said, Leo, you just concentrate on beating United in the Europa final because it's the first and only time I'll be cheering for you.
By the way, United are getting to the final now. We know that now, right? That result last night, they ain't crashing. They might crash at home. They're not crashing that much, right? So for me, United are in the final. Tottenham's got the second leg away from home, right? They're leading it, second leg away from home. But Tottenham, Man United.
If Tottenham play Man United, Tottenham have already beaten them 3 times this season,
which is great. But again, we can live in hope. But the truth is, that is so Tottenham to beat Man United 3 times when it doesn't matter, then play them in a final and fucking lose.
I know, but for once, I'll go to the match in the pub in Melbourne with Leo. He's like, he's a hard, staunch Tottenham fan, and I'll be cheering with him.
Oh, 100%. We all will be.
There's no way. And I'm not a massive. I don't like Tottenham. Don't like the fans. Don't like them in North London. I don't like them. But for that occasion, I'll pray to God that Spurs win.
So, Arsenal-Newcastle, that's a big one because by that point, Arsenal could be slipping into the battle with us. But also, if I'm being honest, because I'm forget the rivalry, forget how funny it would be to fucking take the piss out of Arsenal if we actually do end up finishing above them with a trophy. I'm all I care about is us getting Champions League football. So I would probably rather an Arsenal win or a draw, right? A draw would be great. A draw would be the best result. Then Brighton, Liverpool don't affect us. So currently, we would then play our last home game against Bournemouth on Tuesday, the 20th of May. Difficult game. If Wolves at home is a difficult game, Bournemouth at home is also a difficult game, right?
We just got to pray they're on the beach.
Yeah. And then finally, last weekend of the season, we've got Fulham away. Very difficult game.
Very good side, Fulham.
Where are we? Villa have Man United away.
If Villa need to win that to get Champions League, they'll smash United.
Newcastle have Everton at home.
Yeah.
And Nottingham Forest, that's it. Forest have got Chelsea at home.
Chelsea will win that.
Well, right. See, this is where, and ultimately, if you look at how much all these sides have to play one another, that's where us winning 3 games will be enough. And that's where tonight is so important, because we win tonight.
Sets it up.
We then go and beat South. And by the way, we're in great form. We have to, when we're talking about form of all these other teams, we have to actually now say, for the first time this season, we're now here saying, do you know what? We're in good form too.
Yeah.
If you look at the league table, in fact, here's another one. Another way of looking at it. Where are we? Table. Share screen again. When you're looking at the form, Newcastle have got 4 wins and a loss. We've got 4 wins and a draw. Chelsea have got 3 wins, 2 draws. So Chelsea are actually finding a little bit of form as well.
Yeah.
Forest have got, and do you know what? So Aston Villa and Newcastle's form is pretty much the same. Forest have got the worst form out of all of us. 2 wins, 3 draws. We've got the best form at the pack facing Champions, going for Champions League football. We have the best form at the moment.
At the moment, a lot can happen though. A lot can happen.
A lot can happen, absolutely. But at the moment, and that's what I mean. We had another win tonight, and all of a sudden we're in even better form. Then we've got Southampton.
If we win tonight, it sets up the last 3.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Right. Transfer news. Has anyone seen anything transfer news wise?
No.
Alan's like, nope, don't want to talk on transfers. We need to get the job done. 4 wins.
Great. To me, that's what it's about. The summer will take care of itself. They know what they're doing. Trust them.
I hear you. But at the moment, trust between us and the club is a little bit shorter than it usually is.
It is, but the number one thing for me, as soon as that season's finished, is get rid of.
Actually, there is one thing. There is one thing. Yesterday, I believe, or yesterday or the same day before, Sam Lee came out from The Athletic and said Manchester City are going to be buying 4 or 5 players, but they're also focused this summer is on reducing the wage bill. Now, I saw someone's take was, hold on a minute. Does that mean that we're not going to be bringing in big players that demand big wages? And I thought, I don't think that is what they're suggesting, because they've said 4 or 5. I think what that's suggesting is players like John Stones, players like Bernardo Silva, players like Jack Grealish, those type of players potentially, if the club can move them on, they will be moving them on. Would you agree?
Yes. I think bringing players in who will get... See, Pep's never gone out, apart from Haaland, and bought the superstar, right? Kevin De Bruyne wasn't the superstar when we bought him, right? He wasn't. Neither was Bernardo. So players have got to, like you say, got to earn it and get their increases when they're at City.
Right. So I hear you about not a superstar. However, Kevin De Bruyne, when we bought him, was as hot property as Wirtz is now, I would say. He was. The season he had at Wolfsburg before we bought him was possibly his best ever season. So he was hot property, but I probably would say, and that's the thing. That's why I really do think Wirtz is so important. Do you know much about Cherky?
No.
If we don't get Wirtz, I wouldn't mind Cherky. But again, he's another one that looks like he's going to the other club in Manchester.
Maybe.
Yeah. Unfortunately. But right, Alan, I'm going to ask you for a prediction tonight. I'm not going to do one because I'm nervous as shit. What do you think?
I think City will win 2-1, and it'll be a last-minute winner.
Another one.
Yeah.
Any chance of seeing Haaland tonight? Any chance of seeing Rodri tonight?
Right, Rodri, forget. Right, Haaland off the bench maybe, but Rodri, he's not even playing. He's kicking a ball, but he's not playing any games on the pitch and training ground. He's just kicking a ball, back and forth. Mate, he's had an ACL. That's a serious injury. I'm old enough to remember when Paul Lake had them. I know this advanced now, the medical team, but trust me, you can't come back in 8 months. It's a 9-month job. It is.
No, I don't disagree with you. I personally, I wouldn't rush him. Pep said it. Yeah. He won't be playing until he gets a green light. So we need the green light. And the other thing I've said is that even though he might be, even when we get the green light, right? So when we get the green light that says he's fit, he can play, right?
Yeah.
We must not presume that the first time he starts, we're going to see the best Rodri, right? Because there's being fit to play and there's match fitness, right?
Yeah.
There's also being able to pass the ball. They're being able to get the weight of the ball right on a pass when it's in training and you haven't got a rival about to run their boots down the back of your ankle, right? When you're playing in a competitive game, you know you've got less time. So you have to get up to match speed. So, yeah, I'm with you. I would love to see... Do you know what? I would love to see Rodri get minutes in the FA Cup final. However, I'll be honest, the FA Cup final is in 2 weeks' time. I think it might be too early.
But can you imagine if he comes on for 20 minutes in the final and he goes over?
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I said it's 2 weeks' time. If the final was as it should be in 3 or 4 weeks' time, I'd say, yeah, there's a chance he might get some minutes. But the fact that it's been moved forward and the final is, in 2 weeks tomorrow, I think it might be a bit early. Now, people, there's 170 of you in here. The likes are on 125. That's shit. People, please, just to explain, and this be to people that are watching it now, live, or people that are watching it back after the show ends. If you hit the like button now, that will help this show to be pushed to new people that don't already subscribe to the channel. It will also help it be pushed to those that do subscribe to the channel that recently have been watching other content. So please, it helps. I will always say the super chats, I appreciate them so much. However, the best way to support the channel is free. It's just hitting the like button, right? One last thing.
For people who don't understand what a like button is, it's the thumb up.
It's the thumb.
All you do is press the thumb up, right?
Only once. Don't press it twice.
Just once, the thumb up. Not just for Daps's channel and We Are the South channel. Everyone's channel. That includes the Mancunian Way, which I go on regularly.
Well,
so press that one as well. So press the thumb.
It's that, and do you know what? I'll be honest. So I watch weird stuff on YouTube. Like I watch. I go to sleep most nights. Listening to more documentaries on Romans, documentaries on Greek. Just
the history.
The first thing I do on any of them, because someone's putting time into making that content. The first thing I do is like the video, right? Always, because it helps me get to sleep at night. So I have to say thank you, right? Now, I just want to do this because usually I don't stream from up here. And as you're here, Alan, I think you and I just quickly should go through what I have behind me a little bit. Hold on.
Oh yes, please. Go on. I want to see what's behind you. Oh, nice. You've got Main Road. Is that Main Road?
Yeah, of course it is. So.
Oh, Franny Lee.
Franny
Yes.
Lee. My first memories. My first memories at Main Road were Swales out, Franny in.
Yeah, you've got Steve McMahon.
Steve McMahon. You've got
Tony Colton.
Tony
Colton. Keith Curl.
Keith Curl. My favourite as a kid, Gary Flitcroft.
Yeah, good player.
And then finally, Rocky Rocastle.
Was the player he was.
Yeah, I can't lie. He didn't play for me. What a player he was, and rest in peace. What a phenomenal player he was. Went too early. He didn't play for us too much, though, did he? So
he didn't. But mate, he was a fantastic footballer.
But there's something here for the rivals. So this is from. I reckon this is probably from round about 94.
Yeah. See, I can remember when.
Here's something really interesting for the rivals. See that in the corner?
Yeah.
It says honours. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got honours on there.
You see that? Two league titles, 4 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, and a European Cup Winners' Cup. Right? We do have history.
Daps, is it or is it not? We won a European trophy before Liverpool Football Club.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. We won a European trophy before Liverpool Football Club. So when any scouser says to you and starts going, you've got no history, just tell him that fact and he'll shut up very quickly.
Right. So now let's move on. Remember them? Football Nut?
Yeah.
My favourite player, my hero as a kid.
Who is it?
Rosler.
Oh, God, Uwe. Yeah.
My hero. And I always say Vinny and Keith Curl. What a partnership that would have been.
I love Keith Curl.
I love Keith Curl.
When we drew one each. Yeah, I was in behind the goal. Behind the goal when we scored that penalty that night at Old Trafford. I was there. I remember, listen, hang on. I remember in 1976, 77, 78 season, our City team were second in the league behind Liverpool, right? In the old First Division. And our side was Joe Corrigan, Kenny Clements, Willie Donachie, Dave Watson, Mick Doyle. We had in midfield Asa Hartford. Remember Asa Hartford? Gary Owen. Dennis Chew on the right was my idol. Peter Barnes. And up front, Brian Kidd and Joe.
Met Peter Barnes in Portugal on a golf course.
Brilliant. Well, Peter Barnes, who was brilliant. And Brian Kidd and Joe Royal up front.
Yeah.
And I remember smashing Liverpool 3-1 at Main Road. And I was there that day.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
The ground.
Main Road.
The legendary ground.
I know.
Now, this one, I think, was...
What was the DVD that you had then?
I'll go through them in a second. I'm pretty certain that was on the... I know when that was. That was the day that Blackburn Rovers won the league.
Right.
Me and Steve Lomas.
No way.
Yeah.
Look at you there.
There's my wall as a kid.
My bedroom was the same as yours, mate, when I was a little kid. Mine had I had my first kit. I'll get a picture out next week when I'm on of me in the garden when I was about 6, right? And I had the City kit on with the round neck, the round neck cotton City kit, right? And I had on the socks, Dennis Stewart had tassels on his socks. I even had them playing in school. When I played for the school team, I had tassels on the socks because I thought it was Dennis Stewart. That was it. Oh, look at that! Look at that!
Me and my best mate. The old Umbro stand.
Mate, I'll tell you a story about that, right?
How fucking tiny is it, though? Look at it.
Shit, it's shit. And when they knocked down the Platt Lane end, right, and put all seaters in, and they had to kip out to took the corners out. And they built that stand, I walked into the kip out with my mates that first game of the season, and everyone stood there, and I was staring at this stand that they built. Peter Swales built it.
Yeah.
And I went, who the fuck has built that shit tip? Like, and everyone started laughing. Everyone started laughing around me, right? I went, can someone lock Peter Swales up, because that is a mess, eh? It was horrendous.
Now, can you remember this player? And again, this is me with him.
Can you put it closer to the camera, please? Was it Garadi or something like that?
Maurizio Galdino.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember his face.
Right. What about these? Did you ever have one of these? And stand outside the main stand waiting for players' autographs?
Yeah, you used to stand outside the main stand waiting for the autographs.
Yeah.
Right.
So
they all came out of the car park at the bottom of the main road and walked down. And you used to stand and run under
just
them.
walk down. Yeah. So in here I've got Alan Kerrigan.
Yeah. Oh God, he was shit. Coton. He was shit. Yeah, good player.
Tony Coton, Gary Flitcroft, Colin Bell. And at the point, Colin Bell at the point when I got his autograph was, because what I'd do is I'd write their position, was the youth trainer.
Well, as a little kid, my birthday treat every year was in July, right? And my treat, we went. My dad and my mum took me to a restaurant.
Oh,
right. No, it took me to a restaurant, the Bell Waldron restaurant. Colin Bell owned it in Whitefield. I used to go, and Colin Bell used to walk around and give autographs and talk to you, and that was my treat. That was my treat every year.
I've got Terry Phelan in there, who was mint. Yeah. Peter Beagrie, one of my favourite wingers. I used to love Peter Beagrie. Nicky Summerby, Rossler, Quinn, Paul Walsh, Andy Dibble, Franny Lee, John Burridge. Remember John Burridge?
Yeah, he was over 40 when he played his last professional game for City.
Yeah. Fitzroy Simpson.
Yeah.
Brian Horton.
Hey, everyone said when Brian Horton was given a job at Brian Who, and they were going mad about it, but he turned out to be a bit of a cult hero at City and he still supports them now.
Yeah. Now, videos, and this one, right? Manchester City's greatest FA Cup victories. Now, I'll tell you what.
Is that Colin Bell in front?
There would, yeah. There would be a lot more of these now than there was back then, right? A lot more greatest FA Cup victories. Well, we know the greatest FA Cup victory. Actually,
White Hart Lane. White Hart Lane.
Which is the greatest ever FA Cup victory for City?
Tottenham away in the FA Cup, we came back to win 3-0 down, 10 men. Yeah. That was a good one. I was there that night at White Hart Lane. I was there. I was working in London that day, and I went to the game. That was unbelievable.
But come on,
Villa. No, listen.
Oh no, Alan, you're having a stinker here.
Hang on. Villa Park semi-final against Ipswich was a good one. Everton was a good one.
No, but Alan, I think you're doing a trip down
United at Wembley.
Right, but there's two. For me, there's two. And I think this is a really good debate. Which one is bigger? United 2023, right?
Yep.
If we didn't win that, we wouldn't have a treble.
Correct.
However, so that might be it. However, let's go back to 2011. If we didn't beat Man United in that semi-final, would any of this have happened?
No.
For me, it's those two. It's between those two. I don't know which one because a treble is a treble.
Well, they're both important.
I think United in the semi. I always say that semi was a final because it was literally.
Can I ask you a question, Debate? Which were you more nervous about, United final in the treble year, or the champion? Which were you more nervous, that game or the final itself against Inter Milan?
Oh, Inter Milan! I've never been as nervous in my life.
Really?
Now, and people that were around me, I sat there before the game kicked off with my head in between my legs, trying to. That sounded weird. Trying to what's it called? Trying to manifest our winning goal, and everyone was going, "You're a nervous wreck." I was in tears in the day, like walking up. My sunglasses on all day. I was walking around Istanbul, telling people like, this is it. We have to do this today. This is for it, bro. I was an emotional wreck that day, the Champions League final. But do you know what?
I must admit, I was at the final whistle. I was crying my eyes out.
Yeah, I was. Me and Steve would just look screaming at each other. We've done it, both with tears coming out of our eyes. It was just unbelievable. But I do always think that I love journeys. I always love talking about journeys. And for me, the journey we went on, right? Beating Man United in that semi-final, was us telling them, we're here now. Right?
Yeah.
We're here now. Cool, you've won the league. But you ain't winning the FA Cup. We're getting our first trophy with this group of players, right? That was our first. So that semi-final was big. There's no coincidence. After that semi-final, we won the FA Cup. The next time we played Man United was about 4 months later at Old Trafford, and we beat them 6-1, right? That FA Cup semi-final, we got in their heads, right? Because we were noisy neighbours till that point, right? At that point,
they knew we were coming.
We became a concern to them, and then that 6-1 made them their heads went. That was it. And it's all.
I was in the 6-1. I was on my mum and dad's 50th wedding anniversary, right, in Sri Lanka, in Colombo, right? And I remember watching it in the hotel, at the hotel bar.
Yeah.
And there was me and a few other fucking City fans, and there was loads of United fans. And I was when the fifth one went in, I was pouring champagne over my head at the bar, and all the Sri Lankans were looking at me really strange, right? What's this idiot?
Why are you buying champagne to waste it?
I bought poured it over my head. When the 6-1 went in, I tried to drink someone's pint and down it, and then threw it over my face. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
So this one, it's called Main Road Mania.
I've got that at home.
And that's got the 5-2 win over Spurs on it.
Yeah.
Remember that one? That 5-2 win over Spurs, that was mint. What else we got here? Got 91-92 season.
Just lift it up so I can see the front. Got that as well.
Old badge.
Yep, the best badge.
The best badge. Then the last two. 94-95.
Yeah. Don't have that, but I know what it is.
And 93-94. So pretty much, I think I've got like from 91 till about 96.
Were you at the Blackburn away game when we got promoted?
No.
You weren't there. Okay.
I didn't. So back then, when I used to be a season ticket holder, I didn't do away games because my dad worked some Saturdays, so my dad would always take the Saturdays off.
I bet you watched that game, though, didn't you?
Yeah. I watched every City game as a kid. Yeah.
I've got a friend over here. He's a good friend of mine. Okay, I see him every now and again. He lives in Sydney, and Richard knows him quite well as well. Spencer Pryor. Now, I can get Spencer on your channel to talk through that game because he played in that game as centre half.
That would be one for Steve because Steve can relive all of that because Steve was home and away from fucking.
Well, I'll set that up for Steve. I'll coordinate it through you, right? And we'll do that. That'll be a really good one.
Yeah,
that'll be a really good one because he played at centre half that day. What have you got there?
Hold on. Yeah. Got to get it off without everything falling. There we go.
Next week, I'm going to go through my. Oh yes.
There we go. Where's Wally?
Yeah. I'm going to go through my memorabilia, and there's a lot of it. Trust me.
I'll tell you what, I've got a scrapbook down here as well with all newspaper clippings from the whole Swales Out era. But anyway, there we go. There was a little trip down memory lane.
Great days.
I know I had to with you, Al, because you're someone that lived it. So I won't go through all the programs and whatever. But yeah, right. So everyone have a great day. He's here. He's calling you a liar.
About what?
Pass.
I'm in Hobart. I'm a sister's place, as you can see. He recognises this. He should know. So I'm not. So I am at my parents and my sisters.
Anyway, shout out to Martin. We will be back later on today. Hopefully with LB. Hopefully round about 5, 6, 7. But let's see how LB feels. If not, either way, I will be here tonight at 7 o'clock. So it will either be a show with LB or it'll be a call-in show. I might open my pub again and get my landlord badge on and let all of you lot come in and have a drink with me. But anyway, appreciate everyone for being here. Alan, appreciate you being here. You have a lovely weekend in Tasmania. And actually, tomorrow morning, if you are about, I'm going to be doing a match reaction tomorrow morning with Nick. So,
okay.
And by the way, Nick will be very happy that you're in Tasmania.
Why?
Because he said to me the other day, "Oh God, Alan's going to be ringing me at 5 a.m. asking me where I am."
Yeah, he doesn't go to the pub. He can't be asked getting out of bed.
I mean, listen, I hear it. I fully do hear it. Anyway, on that note, we're out. Have a good day, people.
See you later. Take care now.